This is now Stearns putting his fingerprints more on the franchise, and this is a direct shot at or a direct message to Mendoza. If Mendoza stumbles early, Kai Correa will be the manager. They have no connection. Correa is about 10 years younger, didn't play in the minors, didn't coach together. He comes from multiple different organizations, and the way the season went down last year for the Mets here, the entire staff has been overhauled. So the next guy to go, whether it's right or wrong, unfair or not, the next guy to go is going to be Mendoza. And Stearns now has brought in his guy. If the Mets don't play crisply, whether it's April, May, or however, whatever that finish line would be for them to make the determination it's time to make a move, Correa would be the new manager.
But Mendoza's Stearns' guy as well. So I don't think Stearns is looking to get rid of Mendoza. I think that, Mendy is his guy and he does believe in him. Now, I hate the idea that you would hire a manager and force upon him a coach that he's never worked with before.
Well, you were big on that before this happened.
It just doesn't make sense. That's why. But I wave the white flag. I give up. I give up because they're never going to get it. The Yankees aren't going to get it with their data and their analytics and not having a feel for it. They think what we think is stupid. And by the way, even if you fired Boone, let's just say hypothetically, I know we'll keep it to the Mets here.
Yep.
If they fired Boone, he's an extension of the front office. So what do you think would happen? You have to get rid of the whole thing and then have somebody with a new philosophy come in. So it's not just the manager. Same thing with Mendoza. What do you think would happen if the Mets fire Mendoza and Kai Correa takes over? Kai Correa? Like, that's who you want to manage the New York Mets?
Not even the Correa you want most. You'd rather have Carlos Correa batting somewhere behind Soto.
At least this one's cheaper, Kai Correa. And by the way, he's done some nice things. I was talking about it yesterday with baseball.
Who knows what Kai Correa's done? Bench coach, whatever.
I wouldn't know him if he fell out of a tree onto my lap or whatever the saying is. I have no idea. I wouldn't know anything about him. But Hannah Kaiser, who I work with on Baseball Night in New York, said that he was good with the defense, alignment, and whatever.
With the Guardians. He was doing the defense.
Yeah. Okay, great. Like, to me, that's great. They're going to hire a new hitting coach. Yeah, that's great. You know what I'd rather see? Get some good hitters. You want to improve defense? Get Nimmo out of the outfield. Get Pete off of first base. Get a younger, better defensive shortstop. Get an actual center fielder. Like, that to me is how you improve defensively. Not, what is Kai Correa going to push some buttons and magically make the Mets better defensively?
No. How do you even judge how well you position somebody? So what'd you say? She said that he's renowned for...
Well, whatever he did it well with the... I think it was with the Phillies.
Was it the Guardians from a defensive coordination and then 3 years on the bench for the Giants for a couple of years?
For the Giants, okay, yeah.
Right. So, just to be clear, this is not me saying that, Kai Correa is going to elevate the Mets. I mean, he might have literally a neutral impact or even a negative impact on the Mets. I mean, it can go either way. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying, and luckily for you and other Met fans, the good players, they're coming. But before you get to free agency, you've got to solidify the staff. And listen, to me, the concept of allowing somebody to bring in people that they value, that they want to work in, like Mendoza with Gibbons.
Right.
You give somebody that latitude when you first bring them in. I think you stop giving them that room when you're not sure if they're the guy for the job. And that's what I'm saying. I can't prove this. I strongly believe that even if it was the smallest level, that the Mets thought about firing Mendoza, whether it's right or wrong. When you clean out the entire staff, including a pitching coach who's been revered, he's been here for a long time, right, but has been revered, and the only guy that's left standing is the first base coach, who's amazing.
And you can't move on from him.
He's phenomenal. He's phenomenal. Yeah. And Mendoza, they're telling you without telling you that they don't believe in Mendoza enough to give him the juice to hire his new staff. They're doing it for him, and they're doing it for him with somebody that they believe can take the reins from Mendoza if they have to fire Mendoza. That's what's happening.
Yeah, and I just can't get behind that. I'm sorry, because I don't think it's putting somebody in a position to succeed. I'll say it again, I don't think that the Mets and David Stearns want to fire Carlos Mendoza. I do agree with you that there at least had to be some thought about it, because you wouldn't just fire the entire staff.
Exactly.
And be like, everything's, good. And I do believe that they believe in him, but it is with a very short leash. Like, all right, you better get this thing fixed. And maybe there are deeper issues that we're not privy to, that were going on, like that they think, well, this is on the manager to help clean up. Whatever it may be, use your imagination, figure it out. I mean, a team with that much talent shouldn't have 83 wins. I don't care what anybody says. It's unacceptable. So you can blame the pitching all you want. There was more to it than just that, because look at the Cincinnati Cincinnati Reds roster. They won 83 games and made the playoffs over a tiebreaker over the Mets. So even with the pitching, the Mets still should have been better what they were. And they were one of the worst teams in baseball since June 13th on. That's more than just not having some starting pitching. So I do think that there was more to it. And maybe they're holding the Mendoza's feet to the fire a little bit. I just don't understand why you wouldn't, if you truly believed in the manager, why wouldn't you want him to pick the people he wants to surround himself with? I'm not saying that he doesn't like Kai Correa. I have no idea, but he doesn't know him.
Well, that's the point. They're shoving him down his throat. Now, ideally, I would like my manager to pick his guys, but that's why the way I frame it, Sal, think about what I said to start the show. They are doing this for him because they don't have that full conviction.
But front offices do this
that
now.
Mendoza's. I agree with that.
I hate that the sport has come.
But they didn't do that to Mendoza when he first started. There was full, hey, this is your
not
show.
Really. I mean, because he had a lot of the holdovers.
Not the pitching coach, but I'm talking about the bench coach, like Gibbons, right?
Yeah.
Gibbons was brought in by Mendoza.
I don't even know if that was his number one choice. Now, again, I don't know this. We can actually get people on who have reported on this and would know. I don't believe Gibbons was the first choice of Mendy. I think he knew him and there was familiarity there. I don't think it was a...
Okay. Even if it wasn't his first choice and whatever degree of familiarity was or wasn't there, and you and I both believe it was there, I think we both know it's not here now, which is the point. Like, you think about this, Sal, and whether it's unfair to Mendoza, which I don't think it is. I think it maybe would have been unfair if they fired him. One really good year, one catastrophe based on the expectations. Let's use the third year to split the difference. That was my mindset the day after the Mets season ended. But right now, common sense, forget about all the emotion, the opinions, the money, and the soda and the Lindor. Forget about that. Just use faceless names and a faceless team. Incredibly disappointing season. The entire coaching staff is fired. A $400 million investment to win a championship. And the manager's brought back. But here's a coach from two different organizations who has no connection to the manager, who really floundered a year ago. What do you think that's saying? That's saying exactly what I'm telling you. It's saying if they start out 9-20, Mendoza's gone. Correa's the manager.
Well, all right, let me play devil's advocate for a second, because I'm just going to disagree in that. By the way, you might be right. I'm going to disagree and give the Mets, and maybe I shouldn't do this, the benefit of the doubt, saying that they're not hiring a bench coach with the thought process of, we're looking to get Mendy out, and then he could just slide in and take over. If you're doing that, you've got no shot. That's already set up to fail. You can't do that. It would be any organization, anything. Well, we're going to hire this guy, but we kind of think he might not be it, and we'll hire the guy behind him just in case. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. You hired Mendoza, you should believe in him to the point where if you truly did believe in him, you would let him say, here's what I need around me to be successful. The problem is Major League Baseball front offices, the majority of them, if not all of them, don't believe that that's the best way. I believe it's the best way. They don't. So David Stearns may believe that this is the best way, seeing somebody in Kai Correa that he believes to be an asset to his organization because of his intelligence, because of his defensive skill, whatever it may be. He's looking at him as an asset. Okay, how can we bring this asset into the organization? Where can we put him to try to make us better? That to me is an analytical approach of, okay, Kai Correa may be a useful piece to an organization, but is that really what you want for your manager to have as his bench coach without having any familiarity? That's where I push back and say no.
And by the way, it's not ideal. I'm with you on that. But that's independent of what I think the Mets are thinking. Now, you said something that's very important here earlier. Mendoza, Stearns' guy. That's the first real move that he made, right, when he came here for the Brewers. He wants to see him succeed and use the term thread the needle. I also know that he's smart enough that he knows he's got to thread the needle just in case, because, Sal, it wasn't just that, and there were pitching issues, and I'm not saying it was all Mendoza's fault. A lot of injuries. There were some circumstances, but there was something off about the 2025 Mets. I know that the 2024 chemistry with Iglesias and some of the guys, J.D. Martinez, all right, that was unique, and they bottled that, and it worked. They almost got to the World Series, and they overachieved in large part, and you respect that. But last year, there was a dullness. There was a lack of... I use the word character at times, but if that's too strong for some, definitely a lack of cohesion and connectivity. So I think when you identify that, which the Mets had to, because Stearns is not a dummy, neither is Cohen, you've got to have a succession plan lined up. And I believe that this is it. And think about it. Stearns is young, right? He's a young guy. He's a young executive. And the days of, Don Zimmer and these other baseball lifers sitting in the coach's office, having bourbons until 2 a.m.
You're talking
shop. Exactly. Or smoking 13 cigarettes in the tunnel in between pitching changes. It's over. So Stearns is young. Kai Correa is young. The Mets, I'm not saying it's perfect, but to me, this is what they're thinking. That's their plan.
BT and Sal on the Fan, our friends at Town Fair Tire. Remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. The other part of this, where Brad Ausmus was hired with the Yankees to be the bench coach. Yep. There was some thought to what you're saying now about Kai Correa being like, well, things go wrong. Ausmus has managerial experience, blah, 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 blah. And it turns out that they really just hired Ausmus to be the bench coach for Aaron Boone, thinking that he was an asset. So I'm hoping that was the case. But even if that is the case, it's still not good enough for me.
Well, think about this. The addition of Ausmus, who's former manager, as we know, the way the Yankees treat their managerial spot is very different than the way Cohen's Mets treat it.
Right.
They whacked Buck quick.
Right.
Like, Buck had a tremendous first year, then things went sideways. Next.
Well, there's been multiple GMs. Yes, to your point, I mean?
Yes. So there's been more turnover, more volatility, whereas then sometimes to our chagrin, the patience with the Yankees is a problem. So, in the 5 years that Cohen's in the 5 years he's owned the Mets, he has told us, I'm not standing pat. If things aren't met at the level that I think that they should be met, I have no problem making changes. Hal has not done that.
Brad is calling from Mineola. What's up, Brad?
Hey, bud.
All right, gentlemen. I thought we were done with the Mets, but here we are.
We're just getting started.
The winter's just started.
We're just getting started. I know, because we got nothing really else to talk about that's good. But with that being said, listen, let me make this clear. I love Mendy. I do. But just like similar to what's going on with the Yankees, everybody talking about Boone, blah, blah, blah. If the Mets are a win-now team, the Mets should be getting a win-now manager. And there's only one guy out there right now that's a win-now Hall of Fame guy like Tito Francona, and it's Bochy. And why not, if you are going to do something, because this Kai Correa guy I know nothing about, he made the Guardians do something this year. Great. Get Bochy. Bochy will change the character, the culture, and everything.
But Brad, hold on a second. Brad.
Win a World Series.
Yeah, but you should have made this call yesterday because they're not bringing in Bochy because they wouldn't make Bochy absorb somebody like Kai Correa. If you bring in somebody, and I don't know the value of Kai Correa, so I'm certainly not going to downgrade him. And I know that you're not, but you like Kai Correa. What does he have? I don't know. He could actually be a really good asset. So I'm going to be open-minded here. But
I'm sure he might be.
Exactly.
It's not
Stearns is
him.
no dummy. He's not bringing in some dope who's got some antiquated philosophies, whatever Correa is good at. And I don't really know yet.
Right.
I will find out, as will you. We'll do our homework on this. But I can promise you that it aligns with what Stearns values. Now, if you called, we did a lot of Giants yesterday, but if you called us at the end of the season or the day that Bochy got fired, hire Bochy, I would have been all for it because Bruce Bochy is a Hall of Famer with multiple teams, but it's not happening. You got your bench coach, and they would have allowed Bochy to bring in his own bench coach. So Bochy's not going to go. He's not managing the Mets this year, not to start.
Well, that's the point. Don't get it twisted. This is not about Kai Correa and that he's not good or this is a bad hire.
Not at all.
Nothing to do with that. Most of us have no idea with anything about Kai Correa. All I know is that I don't think it's the proper structure or setup. I wouldn't do that. And to your point about Bochy, and I know Evan talked about this. Was it yesterday with Boone?
Yeah, a lot of Yankees
should hire Bochy.
He said they should fire him.
Fire
Straight
Boone
up
and hire,
said that.
Fire Boone and hire Bochy, whatever. Yeah. We, as baseball fans, me and UBT, the listeners, the majority of the listeners, we love the old school managers and that.
No doubt.
We will never, ever, ever let that go.
Yeah.
They, meaning the majority of people in baseball, don't. It is that simple. So we could yell and scream about it and hire Bochy, hire this guy, hire Buck, keep Buck. The Mets tried it a couple years ago, different regime. It's also 3-4 years later. It's just different. The days of Bochy or Ron Washington or you name it, Melvin, whoever it may be, it's over. It was hanging on by a thread anyway. And now I think that's it. You're just not going to see it anymore. Maybe sometime in the future they'll actually hire managers to manage. It's the way of the game. It's all analytical driven right now, and I hate it.
It's not all, but it's too much, to your point. And think about this, Sal. The decision makers are getting younger and younger and younger.
Right.
So what do you think they're going to gravitate toward? The younger, analytically, numbers-oriented baseball person rather than a baseball lifer.
Right.
I'm with you.
Of course, we'd rather
To me,
have the
give me
lifer.
Mattingly, give me Bochy, give me Melvin, give me Buck, give me, I don't know if I would want Ron Washington to be my manager, but yeah, we're cut from the same cloth. Stearns is not.
But even correct. But even, and it doesn't mean that he can't win.
Yeah.
But that's why I can't get behind it. I mean, how about hiring some scouts and have them go out there and scout players?
Well, they have the scouts.
I don't
With
think
their
it's
scout list, the Mets.
I don't believe as much as they need to be. And it's not just the Mets, it's in the game, but maybe the Mets need to do a little bit better than others. By the way, if you did hire Bochy, they would be telling him what to do.
Nah, well, that's why they're not hiring him, because they know that he wouldn't accept that.
That's the point. So in most front offices, and let's just use the Mets and Yankees, they're going to bring in a manager that they can control and tell what to do, which is why it's not going to be Bochy. And even if it is to give the fans a little piece of meat like Buck, they're still not going to let Buck fully manage the way that he wants to. It's going to be a collaboration with Buck and then Billy Epler talking about what we should do, analytics, here's what I suggest with the lineup. Buck says, no, I don't want to do that. Whatever it may be, then you're going to have a different type of confrontation.
Why do you think the Yankees bounced Girardi? Because he wasn't playing nice in the sandbox.
Bingo.
That's simple.
He didn't want to hear it. John is calling from St. Louis. What's up, John?
Hey, John.
Hey, good morning, guys. Before I get to the Correa point, I think the Mets already have their manager in waiting if they fire Mendoza. And I think it's Carlos Beltrán. And I think he would be the mix of the old school, but also he's connected with that front office and would listen to their input. So I think he's already on the staff.
Maybe.
But this Correa guy, I've just taken one look at him. I already know he's going to be an asset. With those satellite dishes coming out of the sides of his head, we're going to be able to hear the other team's pitch comm, and he can relay that to the batter.
Oh, I haven't seen. What has he got? Big ears? You're making fun of his ears?
Does he really? Come on, man.
I mean, come on. Come on. That's not nice, John. Thanks for the call.
I was actually reading something. I shouldn't laugh.
He said
that
satellite dishes.
So he's.
That's not nice.
That's not nice, but it's funny. So
yeah.
he's saying that his ears are so big, he's going to hear the pitch comm from the mound that just relay. Oh, man, that's actually.
I have big ears
nice.
myself, come on, you can't. Come on,
dude.
Who cares what he looks like? I couldn't care less. He's ultra analytical.
If that's the case, just bring back the what was the Gazoo from the from the Flintstones?
Yeah,
you didn't even watch the Flintstones, did you?
I'm familiar with Flintstones.
You got him?
Yeah.
With that big green alien that used to
Great Gazoo?
The Great Gazoo.
Yeah.
He had big ears.
Yeah,
Martian ears. Bring him in.
He's ultra analytical, and that's what I hate. So I don't care how big or small his ears are. I don't care what he looks like. I don't care where he's from. I know you get into that. Like, is he from? Hey, he's from Brooklyn, BT. Oh, well, it changes everything.
Bring him in.
But he's ultra analytical, and that's something that I can't stand. BT and Sal on the Fan. More your calls. We come back. 888-808-1019.